Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. You know, it's one thing for Chris Jericho to go to a Langhorne Steakhouse and lose the AEW Championship like a dumbass. It's a complete other thing to be a WWE creative writing team staff member and lose your mind completely and end up becoming a dumbass for the rest of your life. Tonight's episode of SmackDown Live was much to do about nothing, with one tiny exception, and we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show SmackDown Live King of the Ring 2019 review. Let's do it. You know, I have to laugh because either they're trying too hard or they really just had nothing to go with from the start as it pertains to the who attacked Roman Reigns mystery, which has now become pretty much a laughingstock, and it's very confusing, much like the rest of SmackDown Live was very confusing. We had a confusing outcome in one of the King of the Ring matches. We had a very confusing opening segment, which involved Bayley, and then we had the way the show went off the air tonight, which just confused the hell out of me. What is the end game here? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to put over Rowan as a next big new star? Now, essentially, I'm not going to shit all over this so much, because if that's the intention, then that's fine. But what are we supposed to do with Daniel Bryan now? Daniel Bryan has been in the middle of the greatest heel run of his whole entire career. Maybe of anybody's career. He's got a great gimmick. He's got the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. Sure, people still want to cheer Daniel Bryan, but the new Daniel Bryan has been fantastic. He's been one of the highlights of SmackDown Live, with or without the heavyweight championship. And what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to cheer him now? Is he going to not be an eco-terrorist anymore? Is he not going to be the planet's champion? Is he going to revert back to, yes, Daniel Bryan, and now Erick Rowan's going to get all the heat? Are Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns going to unite and try to fight against Rowan? If Rowan wasn't taking orders from Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan is telling the truth, and Daniel Bryan was lied to here, who the hell is giving the orders? Is it truly Erick Rowan on his own? What is his motivation? Why does he want to kill Roman Reigns? Why is he so pissed off at Daniel Bryan? And don't tell me it's because he smacked him in the face a bunch of times last week. All these incidents with Roman Reigns happened over a month ago. So Daniel Bryan smacking this big goofball in the face has absolutely nothing to do with the reason why Erick Rowan is breaking away, going on his own, and trying to commit murder. Explain it to me. We didn't have an explanation. All we had was Erick Rowan getting pissed off at Daniel Bryan, telling him, nobody touches me, and you slapped me over and over last week. And then SmackDown Live ends tonight with Daniel Bryan getting the claw chokeslam through the table by Rowan while Roman is laid out, and I don't know what the hell is going on. Do you? Can you explain it to me? I certainly don't understand it, not one bit. It's just as confusing as the woman's situation. SmackDown Live opened up with the women's champion of the Blue Brand, Bayley, making her way to the ring. She is coming out all happy and shit. Did she not just go evil last night on Becky Lynch, beating her back with a chair, aligning herself with the legit boss, Sasha Banks, who is on the heel alignment of things? And I'm still failing to understand why you would come out and be waving to the crowd and playing out with the Bayley buddies, the wacky, wavy, inflatable, arm-flating dick bags that I don't understand why they're being inflated tonight. If Bayley was truly given a heel turn and Bayley is truly on the evil side of the equation now, Why is she coming out like that? Why is she not popping the inflatables? As soon as they come up, she should have went, bah, 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 don't fucking cheer me. I'm not taking any crap anymore. Or at the very least, let her come out and do all that, right? Dance to the crowd. Bam, bam, Bayley, hug me, shut up. And then you go to do the thing and raise up the Bayley buddies and nothing happens. And she's like, screw you. That's what a heel would do. That's what a heel would do. She wouldn't come out looking to play favorites with the fans and then go on and give one of the worst promos that a heel could ever give. Did you ever once in your life hear a heel out there going, I did this to be a role model for your children and to show them that there's loyalty and there's respect and that I'm not going to turn my back on my best friend and this and that? What the hell is she talking about? What is she talking about? Of course she's going to be faithful to her best friend. But why do we have to go that route? Why do we have to go back to something that WWE beat to death? It's worse than beating a dead horse at this point. Bayley is lost. She's lost. She's out there meandering to the fans, telling people she's got heart. She did all of this with her heart, and she did it for them. And she wants to put SmackDown's women division on the map. She wants to prove that she's a deserving champion. And she's not saying it in a manner or with the inflections of any evil connotations. She's sitting there just being Bayley. Somebody go give her a hug, make her feel better, and maybe she'll realize that she don't want to be with Sasha Banks anymore. I don't understand it. Everything we saw last night on Raw would lead you to believe that it never even happened when you saw Bayley arrive tonight on SmackDown Live. Talk about inconsistent. And then it gets even worse, because Bayley wants to start talking shit about her opponent at Clash of Champions, the Queen Charlotte Flair. Of course, Charlotte Flair is going to come and address Bayley, and then as soon as things get physical, the boss comes out. Charlotte finds herself outnumbered, and what are we supposed to do? Who are we rooting for in this scenario? I don't understand where we're going with this. There's only one logical explanation for the go-home show. If you look at everything that's going on, we are going to have a tag team situation where the boss and connection are going to end up going up against fucking tea time with Charlotte and Becky. And we're going to have, for the first time ever, the 4 horsewomen in the ring. And they're going to start pouting all that shit out there for us. And it's all too much too soon. Like I said, much to do about nothing. Because at the end of this thing, what? We're going to have Bayley trying to be the good girl and you know, Sasha's going to be the evil. It's going to be good cop, bad cop tag team. How's it going to work? The wild card's still screwing shit up. The brand split doesn't mean anything anymore. What is the purpose of this tag team? I don't understand. Somebody help me understand. It's very, very confusing. Charlotte Flair's the bad guy, but she was put in the position of the good guy tonight. Becky Lynch was absent. She wasn't there to bail out her best friend this week, which is what leads me to believe that that's going to be what happens on either Raw or SmackDown before we get to Clash of Champions. And it doesn't make sense. And it's going to ruin Sasha's comeback. You immediately bring her back and start going right back to where you left her off. She's wrestling with Charlotte, she's wrestling with Bayley, and she's wrestling with Becky. We didn't have Sasha Banks come back as a bitch and go after Asuka. You know, go after Alexa, take vengeance on her. Go after Nikki Cross. Go after somebody different. No, we're going right back into the old wagon wheel that we've been around and round and round and round and round and round and round and round. What are we going to start trading titles between Sasha and Charlotte again 150 times over the next week and a half? I didn't sign up for that. I could tell you that much. The crowd was really into this, and it was hard to really get a read on the crowd because Bayley was coming out and she was getting cheers and boos, and I would say they were about 50-50. Bayley herself couldn't figure it out. She's like, this is really confusing because she's walking out there and getting one of the biggest babyface reactions she's ever gotten in her life for doing what she did as a villain. And I think that's because us as an audience and fans nowadays are reaching that level that some of us older guys did in the 90s, where we don't want the cookie cutter baby bullshit anymore. We want characters with edge. We want gritty characters. Characters that stand for something, that mean something. And Bayley finally stood up for herself. She's like, no, I'm the SmackDown Live Women's Champion. I'm front and center, not this raw, red-headed Becky Lynch man-woman. And everybody can respect that. So we're all going to continue to cheer Bayley. And it's having the opposite effect of what's going on in the mind of the WWE. Very similar to what they did with Becky Lynch at her launch. Don't you think so? It's going against the grain. And it's just messing everything up. And it didn't really do anything for me, and I'm pretty sure it didn't do anything for you guys. We got to our first King of the Ring quarterfinal match of the evening. Elias defeats Ali. Let me repeat that because I can't even believe it. Elias defeats Ali. I didn't even have Elias coming out of the first round. And now Elias goes out there and beats one of the top prospects, one of the guys on the roster that are in the mid-card that the WWE is actually allowing to, have vignettes, have promos, have great matches with quality opponents. And then you throw him in there with Elias, who has spent the last 2 years practically on the bench, sitting around singing songs, having lettuce and tomatoes chucked at him by Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley. He's doing all kinds of nonsense with Shane McMahon and Baron Corbin. Nobody gives a shit about anything this guy does, and you're giving him the rub in the King of the Ring because WWE is afraid to have a babyface match all of a sudden. Since when are they afraid to do that? They do that on the fly just because they don't have a great idea. What happened when Bray Wyatt went down a couple of years back? We ended up getting AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. They didn't give a shit then. That's what a tournament is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be getting unexpected matches along the way. You got the brackets set up in a certain way, and then you're supposed to be able to say, holy shit, we're going to see Ali versus Chad Gable? What? That's a crazy match. On the other side of the equation, who was we? We were pulling for Cedric Alexander versus Ricochet as a semifinals for the King of the Ring. That is eternally greater than the triple threat we are being offered at Monday Night Raw in Madison Square Garden for the go-home show next week. So there is just no creativity in this company. They refuse to just go against whatever rules Vince has set, and we have to have the babyface versus heel dynamic. And I know that maybe on last night's show I said that that's sometimes an essential thing. It's something that you really need in professional wrestling for certain storylines to truly get over, and I stick by that opinion. But in a tournament scenario, this is the one time where you don't truly have to stick to those rules, and you can do something different. And I was expecting them to shake things up and to do things a little bit different. Everybody's talking about WWE feeling the pressure from this and from that and from AEW and from whatever. And then they go on and put on a King of the Ring like this, where Elias beats Ali, who's a favorite of most of the people in the audience. He was way over with the crowd tonight. He's way over with all of us, for the most part. I don't see why not. The kid's fantastic. But they don't want to put him anywhere. Why would you invest all that time in him over the last couple of months to serve him up in the King of the Ring and not even let him get to the finals and put on a great match? He went down to Elias. It doesn't matter how good this match was. This guy lost to a perennial loser in a King of the Ring. How good does that really make you look? This was probably one of the best matches I've seen from Elias. I guess these guys are all trying to step up their game. Last night we seen Baron Corbin with a good match. Tonight we seen Elias with a good match. In both cases, we didn't want to see either one of those men advance in the King of the Ring, but unfortunately, that is what happened. There was a lot of great storytelling in this match. There was a lot of pinpointed attacks on limbs and targeted aggression and targeted submission holds and stuff like that, trying to take out Ali's knee. And Elias had some arm issues that Ali was trying to exploit. Very good mental battle going on between the men. Also, it was given a decent amount of time, but Elias would hit the drift away and would advance into the semifinals of the King of the Ring. as very sadly, to me, Ali ends up drifting away into the background, eliminated from the King of the Ring. We seen Aleister Black sitting in the back, once again, looking like a rabid dog, waiting for somebody to knock on his door. And that's what we keep seeing. Aleister Black, who's going to challenge me? Who's going to knock on my door? Where is this room? How does every arena in the country have the same exact room for Aleister Black to sit in? Let that marinate in your mind for a minute. But now let's get serious for a second. Aleister Black has for months been waiting, and he did get one person to answer his challenge, and that person was Cesaro. Aleister Black took care of that, and now he's back, sitting in the back, waiting for somebody to come up and pick a fight, but nobody wants to pick a fight with him, so now he's going to go to the ring, he says. I'm going to go to the ring, and I'm going to wait until somebody comes out to fight me. I'm going to go looking for a fight. The Mountain doesn't want to come to me. I'm going to go to the Mountain. First of all, that's pretty much how it goes in life. What fucking mountain do you know moves? The Mountain doesn't want to come to me. Who's the Mountain? Are we watching Game of Thrones or are we watching SmackDown Live? Who's the Mountain? Braun Strowman? Is he the Mountain? Is Rusev the Mountain? The Mountain doesn't want to come to me. Mountains don't go anywhere, bro. I don't know where you got that little nugget from. I've never heard that phrase before, and that's because it's fucking impossible. It's a stupid turn of phrase. If you know the meaning of it, or maybe it's some sort of Confucius say kind of mountain don't come to you, mountain goes to mountain. Who cares? Mountain Dew is a great drink. Who gives a shit? I'm gonna go to the mountain. Supposed to. And then we go to the ring, and Aleister Black's not going to the mountain. There's no mountain set up in the middle of the ring. There's no picture of a mountain. There's not a painting of a mountain on an easel. And there's nothing to do with mountains for the rest of the evening. But we get some mountains on some ladies. We get some of those nice little flesh mountains some of us men love so much as Mandy Rose. That was a terrible segue. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, Fire and Desire, come out and challenge the I always want to just call it the SmackDown Live Women's Tag Team Championship. I don't know why I do that, but the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, in a non-title matchup, so you all already know what's going to happen. We only have one show until we get to the Clash of Champions left. There's no champion contenders for the SmackDown. I guess, see, it's just natural. It just comes out. Maybe it's because we're doing SmackDown, but whatever, forgive me. For the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, there is no number one contender, so the WWE, in WWE fashion, does the most WWE thing the WWE could do, and they have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville beat Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, hinting at the fact that they will probably be next in line for a title shot. When is there going to be another title shot? At the Clash of Champions! I will say this, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. I've been hard on them over the years, but I cannot do this review and claim to be the most truthful guy on this platform if I didn't tell you guys that these girls are getting better every week. They still have some work to do. I'm not saying they're the best. Well, they just might be the best actual tag team in the women's division at this moment. Who else is going to be better than them? They've been together over the course of a couple of years. They have great chemistry. Maybe Kairi Sane and Asuka, if we would ever see them, it would have been great to see that instead of seeing our champions get beaten, which is WWE's MO. It's always the most WWE thing the WWE could do. We don't know how to get a number one contender anymore. Let's not have tag teams going up against each other to see who's going to get a shot at the champions. Let's not do, what has worked for hundreds and hundreds of years ever since the existence of professional wrestling as we know it. Let's not do any of that. Let's just beat the champions and make them look like idiots, even though we got them on every show twice a week, every single week. Remember when the Iconics had these titles and we didn't see them for months and months at a time? All of a sudden it's on Alexa Bliss and we got to see it twice a week. Overkill, man. It's overkill, and it's making it uninteresting. I certainly wasn't too into the match because I already knew what I was going to see happen. It was just interesting to see how it went down. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville pulled off this nice little double team maneuver. It reminded me, now the goddamn team is eluding me. Maybe it was America's Most Wanted back in the day, but there was, or the Pitbulls. The Pitbulls had that Eliminator friggin' crazy double tag team maneuver that they had. It was like a sweep and a spinning heel kick combination, and they did something very reminiscent of that, as I believe it was Sonya Deville delivering the knee to the face as simultaneously Mandy Rose delivered a swift sweep, and they would end up picking up the win later on. It was a decent match for these two girls, and I thought it was nice to see. It was nice to see. At least, for as much shit as I give them, you could at least say that they are getting better and they are working, which means that they care. And if they care, then let's give them a chance, right? Let's not rain on everybody's parade all the time. I could be a nice guy. You just got to earn it. And tonight I think they earned just a little bit. They still got a long ways to go before we call them great. But it was nice to see. Samoa Joe, the journeyman of the WWE, who's also on every show, every week, all the time. He's there to scout his competition. He runs into Chad Gable, and the tiny jokes start to flow. All the little man jokes and the Hobbit jokes, and he called him Bilbo as he walked away, just making his point known that he's here to check it out because nobody's going to beat him when he takes the King of the Ring. And the only thing I really walked away from this is very interesting for one reason and one reason alone. And that is because WWE could be planting a seed right here. They could be throwing a hint at you. And while I don't expect for 1 minute that Samoa Joe is going to win this triple threat match, it would be pretty interesting to see, considering this interaction happening tonight, if Chad Gable and Samoa Joe end up facing off in the finals of the King of the Ring. It definitely has something there to work with, and that's what you need to do. You need to plant little nuggets around, and then you pick the one that you think works best, and then you go with it. But if you're not going to go with it, then leave it alone. I am fully expecting it to be Baron Corbin making it to the finals just to piss off every single wrestling fan in the world. And while it would be great to see Chad Gable move on and defeat the evil Baron Corbin and save the WWE Universe from a reign of that king that we don't want to see, I certainly don't expect that to be the case, and I think the WWE would do the exact opposite. Chad Gable is going to gain all this momentum only to be extinguished by Corbin, much to our displeasure, which might actually not turn out so bad when all is said and done. But we're speculating and we're trying to look for best case scenarios. We're always looking at everything that's always wrong, but we always want to try to give ourselves a reason to watch. So we have to try to look for the silver linings in the clouds for the future sometimes. Randy Orton made his way down to the ring. The fans were all over him in a positive way, which, that speaks to what I was saying before. The fans are just ready for those more edgy, more adult type characters. Randy Orton, The Fiend, they are definitely more mature oriented material, and Randy Orton definitely fits that mold. He got a very good response tonight. He promised to win the WWE Championship at the Clash of the Champions. He called Kofi Kingston a fraud and then was talking about how he injured Kofi Kingston last week. He then showed footage of the attack of the New Day and the attack on Kofi Kingston. He promised no more traps. He promised Kofi Kingston no tricks, no more bullshit. Come on down to the ring right now. And Kofi Kingston's music hit. Kofi Kingston comes out, and he was played for the sucker that I knew he was going to be. When a villain tells you, listen, I'm not going to play any more tricks, come over here and shake my hand. As soon as you shake his hand, you're going to be electrified by a laughing buzzer like the Joker would do to Batman. There's no two ways about it. Randy Orton is a snake. Randy Orton is a viper. He is going to be deceitful, and he proved it tonight. The revival came from out of nowhere, just like their new mentor, and would attack Kofi Kingston. They would bring him to the ring, bring him to Randy Orton. He would stomp the shit out of Kofi Kingston, repeatedly calling him stupid, 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 over and over and over again. This was just very intense, very, very wrestling. This is wrestling. This is what you want in a World Championship title build. You need to have drama. You need to be behind Kofi Kingston. If you're behind him, you're going to be more behind him now. You're going to get more behind him than you've ever been behind him before. The odds are stacked against him. The New Day is incapacitated. Both of them have been taken out by this trio already, and now Kofi Kingston stands alone. The odds are certainly stacked against him. You're going to jump on his back, or you're going to be with the Viper, Randy Orton. You're going to want him to take that title, and you're going to want him to reign with his new stable and see where that's going to go, which might be the WWE's direction, being that we're headed towards Fox in the fall, and we're just a couple of weeks away. And it might be an interesting way to go about it. I did not expect Kofi Kingston to be the champion as we entered the Fox era of SmackDown, but that might be the case as well. We are going to have to tune into the Clash of Champions to find out. And if there is one match on the entire card that has been built nicely, one match that has my interest, and one match that I'm actually looking forward to see, it is Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, and it's because of stuff like this. You don't always have to be out there having wrestling match after wrestling match. This guy loses, this guy loses. This is storytelling. This is putting it in the hands of some good craftsmen when it comes to telling stories in the ring, and I'm very excited about it, and I hope it turns out as good as I hope it will. Also, before we step away from this, there was one moment right before the end where the Revival sent Kofi Kingston into the ropes, picked him up at the same time like the Dudley Boys would do, and then Randy Orton executed a super RKO. It was just beautiful to see. It was magical, and I hope they do more shit like that, and it was just fucking cool, and that was a good moment for SmackDown Live, which was full of a lot of terrible moments. We had the recap of the Roman Reigns mystery attacker angle, which at this point I really didn't give a shit, and by the time we get to it and see what happens with it, it makes it not worth the wait. Not even for one little microcosm of a second. It's not worth a shit. We'll get to that in a second. Chad Gable defeated Andrade with Zelina Vega in his corner in the second King of the Ring quarterfinal match of the evening. This match was so much fun to watch. In one match, Chad Gable showed everybody in the world, I don't know why they're sleeping on me, and now you don't know why either, because look at how awesome I am. He was in there with a quality opponent like Andrade, and these guys put on a fantastic King of the Ring match. It was so very exciting. The crowd ended up on Gable's side towards the end, chanting his name over and over. The athleticism of Andrade in this matchup as well. One of the interesting things that I didn't like didn't have anything to do with the physicality and the action. What I didn't like was the promo that they gave Zelina Vega to do at the start of this thing. I thought it was a little bit unnecessary. I don't know why everybody, even the smallest of the women in the WWE, are taking shots at Chad Gable for being a small guy. The tiny jokes, the little jokes, the calling him a kid, calling him a hobbit, all this shit. Nobody cares about this. It's sophomoric, it's 5th, 6th grade level, juvenile bullshit humor that shouldn't be being shown. Aren't we supposed to be anti-bully? Right? We're supposed to be setting a good example. You're definitely not setting a good example for the young eyes on the television. And I don't care that Zelina Vega was playing this, well, I'm little too, so I would root for you if my man wasn't in this thing. Why are you giving validation to his misfortune of being short when you are shorter than him? You are going through the same shit that he's going through, and then they make Zelina Vega go out there and deliver that promo. She probably hated having to say any of that. Maybe she didn't. You know, maybe she's into her character and she just wanted to be a bitch about it, and that's what a Zelina Vega would do. But I'm sure inside she probably felt bad about saying half of the stuff that the WWE made her say to this kid before this matchup. Didn't matter, because in the end, Chad Gable would defeat Andrade Cien Almas, which I will always call him when I feel like it. The other little thing I didn't like about this matchup was the finish was a little bit sloppy, and I hate those flash pinfalls, man. Andrade was just standing there, the guy's sitting there pretty much still with at least half a tank of gas left. He was definitely the aggressor in the match. He had the upper hand, and then all of a sudden, you just get rolled up and you're laying there with your shoulders to the mat and you don't have enough to kick out. Like, I don't like those pinfalls. It makes Andrade look a little bit silly, but the quality of the match that preceded the finish definitely overrates my underwhelming feeling about the finish. Plus, it was a little bit sloppy, which made it look even worse for Andrade. He kind of had to get himself into the position for the pin. It was just a little bit of a miscommunication body language-wise, but I'm going to forgive it because the match itself was great, and I was hoping that every match in the King of the Ring would be this good. We did have a lot of great competition in the opening round and now in the quarterfinals. The semifinals, Elias versus Chad Gable. What do you think is going to happen here? You think they're going to go with Elias? If they go with Elias in the semifinals, given what the WWE's been doing, we're going to see Elias versus Ricochet? Nobody wants to see that. Are we going to see Elias versus Baron Corbin? And maybe Shane McMahon gets involved? Like I predicted would maybe happen and hope it still does not? Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? All I know is I'm glad that Chad Gable got the win. I don't like Andrade not going far in the tournament either, but hey, you know, sometimes somebody's got to lose. And in a tournament situation, it doesn't matter as much as when you're trying to establish your win-loss record on its own outside of special events. So you could take a loss here and there, and when you do it in such a grand fashion, it's even better. So now, after all this time, I guess Aleister Black had to actually climb a fucking mountain somewhere, because he finally made his way to the ring. And then he does his whole entrance, the ha, 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 you know, which is all fucking great, and I dig it. I like the music. I like the atmosphere. I always liked it from NXT. And then they go to commercial, and we're like, well, who has accepted the challenge? Who's going to come out and face Aleister Black? And I'm thinking, you know, Sheamus is injured, but this would be a great spot if he wasn't injured to surprise everybody and he can come back and step in and try to get some revenge for his buddy Cesaro after he suffered the loss from Aleister Black. But that is not the case. That's not what happened. We came back from commercial and Shelton Benjamin is just in the ring. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why is Shelton Benjamin accepting the challenge? This guy's in all these vignettes in the back that he doesn't say two words. They couldn't have filmed something with him saying like 2 or 3 sentences on why he's going to be the one facing Aleister Black tonight. What's with all the build-up from Aleister Black and all this mystique around somebody needs to be man enough and strong enough to face him, and then he's just going to come out there and face anybody? Who sent Shelton Benjamin out there? What are his motivations? What are his reasons for wanting to step up to Aleister Black? Just to be the man to be the one to shut him up? Does he want to be the first man to beat Aleister Black? We don't know, because while he was coming out to the ring, he could have gave a whole monologue. We at home would never know because we had to sit and watch the mandatory commercials. When we came back from commercials and the bell sounded and we just went to the match, which didn't go for too long. Shelton Benjamin would suffer a black mass and end up losing in fairly quick fashion, which I thought was bullshit, man. Shelton Benjamin is a top quality AAA talent, and they cut this match short so that we could have some fun with the, hey, look at me, I'm a clown 24/7 hours of the fucking day, and I love avocado toast and gold 45 records, and I'm going to put them all together and wear them around my fucking waist, and I'm going to be Drake Maverick, and I'm going to be the 24/7 champion. I'm still not going to bang my wife because I'm a little nerd who's not worth any TV time, and there's all of this nonsense happening, and you got the Singh brothers out there dressed like the Young Bucks, and you got all this chaos, and Bo Dallas ends up winning the championship, and Curtis Axel thinks he's the champion too, and then before you know it, R-Truth is showing up as a lamp. R-Truth standing there dressed as a lamp. Nobody sees him standing next to the King of the Ring throne as a lamp. R-Truth wins the title for the 14th fucking time. Who cares? Who cares? You know what else happened that was pretty bad? Shinsuke Nakamura. It's great to see Shinsuke Nakamura. Guy's the Intercontinental Champion. Fantastic that they put Sami Zayn with him to be his mouthpiece. I thought that was a great combination. I think it's going to be something special. These guys make their way to the ring, and Shinsuke Nakamura is going to wrestle a jobber. I don't know if this is one of the same two knuckleheads that were fighting the Viking Warrior Raider Experience last night, but here we are. Some fat little nobody dressed in black and white, probably pretending in his mind that he's a member of the New World Order, is standing in there with a former New Japan heavyweight champion of the world, Intercontinental Champion, at this moment. And Sami Zayn says, hey, little fat man in the white and black outfit whose name is Andrew something or other. And then the guy's like, no, my name is not Andrew Howard. And he's like, I don't give a shit what your name is. Your name tonight is The Miz. And now the world is going to see what Shinsuke Nakamura is going to do to The Miz. And this is a tale as old as time. We've seen this happen time and time again. I'm not as mad at it as I was with the Viking Raider Warrior Experiences thing, which needs to come to an end. However, the transference of Sami Zayn into Lio Rush, or Abraham Washington, who were the only other two guys that I can remember, to sit there and commentate a match and be absolutely annoying and take away from the match and distract you from the match and just act like an ass throughout the entirety of the matchup. I will say at least we didn't have to listen to the of the Lio Rush, but this time we had to listen to Sami Zayn's incessant screaming, his crazy maniacal laughter, which at times could be funny, in promo segments, in interviews, during Miz TV segments, and the like. While I have to sit there and watch a Shinsuke Nakamura match, no thank you. I can only hope, and the only reason I'm not getting really mad about it and ripping it apart is I only hope that this was a one-time thing and that Sami Zayn only did this because he knew he had to illustrate his points about this guy being the Miz, and this is what you're going to do to the Miz. Oh, look, Miz, that's you, and blah, blah, blah. And I get it, but it was very annoying. And I didn't like it when either of the other two guys did it. I'm certainly not going to like it now. I don't give a shit if it's Sami Zayn. I don't care if it was Macho Man Randy Savage, bless his soul, came down from heaven and sat there on the outside and decided to do what Sami Zayn did. It's something I'm not going to enjoy when I'm trying to watch a wrestling match. It's bad enough that I have to listen to three knuckleheads try to form a complete sentence. I don't need to be distracted by a flapping bird with a beard on the outside wearing a little fedora hat acting a fool. But that's just me. And probably you. You guys get where I'm coming from. It's not the worst thing in the world. If this was a one-time thing, great. If we show up at the Clash of Champions and he's doing this during the Intercontinental Championship title defense by his client, then I'm coming down even harder. But until then, we'll have to wait and see. After this match, we got through the whole rest of the 24/7 nonsense. I put it all out there in one breath because I don't want to even go back to it. But after this match is when we saw Bo Dallas give the title back to Drake Maverick, and then R-Truth, disguised as the Lamp, would go to get his freaking title back, and I really could care less the whole freaking time. This show would wrap up with the worst segment that you could find possible. I don't know whose idea it was. We talked about it in the beginning. I don't know why they decided to just go with Erick Rowan. I don't know how they could have made this more interesting. I don't know what they could have done, man. I don't know what they were trying to do. What I do know is that Daniel Bryan maintains his innocence. He wants an apology from Roman Reigns. We should want an apology from the WWE for putting this crap show together, which made absolutely no sense. Roman Reigns comes down to the ring, and Rowan, before Roman could make it to the ring, jumps him from behind. He gets in the ring, he shoves Daniel Bryan to the floor. He gives Reigns a powerbomb into the ring post. Rowan then gives Roman Reigns the Iron Claw in the middle of the ring. He grabs a microphone and says that Roman thinks Daniel Bryan was behind the attack, but it was me. He says he's proud of it. There's not one moment of tonight's episode of SmackDown Live that anybody should be proud of, except for Chad Gable and Andrade Cien Almas. Just putting that out there. He mocked Roman Reigns and challenged Daniel Bryan to come in the ring and slapped him again. He says he is nobody's puppet. Nobody touches me. Like I said, he's mad at Daniel Bryan for the slaps. That just happened. When have we seen him slap him before? As far as I remember, Daniel Bryan has always said very nice things about Erick Rowan, talking about his level of intelligence and how he's the only person that he can talk to and the only person he can relate to, talking about all these crazy authors that he listens to and always talking him up. When was Rowan oppressed by Daniel Bryan other than last week when he fucked up? Somebody tell me that. How does it make sense? What is he mad at? He's lucky to even be around. The only reason he's around is because of Daniel Bryan. And now we're breaking him off? We're breaking up something good, as always. Erick Rowan was a great accompany piece to the Daniel Bryan character. And now, unless this is a double swerve of some sort, and next week we find out that it was actually Daniel Bryan behind the whole thing, and they planned out this whole thing to throw everybody off, that would be maybe mildly interesting. I don't know why the WWE would be so lazy, but that is the way the WWE is at all times. This segment came to an end very abruptly, and it just didn't make sense to me, so I could not really invest myself into it. It was just, I'm sitting there just watching, going, just what is going on? Why is he doing this? For what reason? Can you guys figure it out? I certainly don't know. Maybe Erick Rowan doesn't like to recycle. Maybe he wants to throw his aluminum cans in a regular garbage pail. Maybe instead of recycling beer, bottles, he wants to smash them over his head instead and eat the glass, and Daniel Bryan says no. Maybe he wants to go out and take a big piece of cow and slack it off and throw it on a grill and fizz it up and then eat it nice and good. Fizz it up? What am I talking about? You see how SmackDown makes me fucking crazy tonight? Oh my God, they're making me talk about Erick Rowan fizzing up beef just to piss off Daniel Bryan. How do you fizz up beef? I think I was trying to say firing and grilling at the same time and it came up fizzing. Give me a break, you guys. I just watched all these hours of wrestling and gave you guys these reviews. Cut me some slack, will you please? Fizzing. What's wrong with me? Let's finish this review. The fans broke out into a yes chant, which, again, starting to confuse all the vibes, and I don't understand what the hell is happening. Rowan admits he was the one behind the attacks. He said the attacks with an S, so he's not just the one that pushed over the big stupid scaffold on top of Roman. He's the guy that tried to commit vehicular manslaughter on the Samoan guy, and we have no idea why. We have no idea why. We don't have a clear explanation. It's just because he's not anybody's puppet. It's because he's going to do what he wants to do. If these are the kind of things that a man like Erick Rowan likes to do, then Erick Rowan needs to be put in prison because he's a psychopath and he wants to kill people. Daniel Bryan got in Rowan's face after all of this and he slapped him again. That's when Rowan really snapped. He gave Daniel Bryan the Iron Claw through the announce table, continuously yelling that nobody tells him what to do. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the end of tonight's SmackDown Live. We have got 2 full weeks before the Clash of the Champions next week, live from my hometown of New York City, in the heart of the city. The Mecca, Madison Square Garden, is going to play host to the go-home shows for both Raw and SmackDown Live, and I certainly hope that when it's over, MSG doesn't regret having them back to begin with, because the way this product has been, it's just been piss poor all around. We know it. We all know it. There have been minor glimpses of positivity. There have been some good matchups and some good action on these WWE shows thanks to the creation of the King of the Ring this year. Other than that, everything else is a goddamn mess. The tag division is still a mess. The women's division is worse than it's ever been before. It's so mixed up and jumbled. I don't know who belongs on what show. I don't know who is what alignment. Who's a babyface? Who's a heel? Who's a tweener? Is that what babyface Bayley is going to be? Is she going to be an in-betweener? Explain it. Somehow. Or at least tell it in a way that's compelling and not jumbled up and boring. That was tonight's SmackDown Live, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed last night's Monday Night Raw review, it was just as much full of fire as this SmackDown Live review, so you can go check that out right now. Do not forget to check out the new series, Everything Wrong with the First Ever Clash of Champions, back in 2016 in 12 minutes or less. My CinemaSins style wrestling rewinds, which you guys should not miss. My first try at this thing found it being blocked by the WWE due to a certain usage of footage, but I have fixed that mistake, and if you have not seen it yet, now will be your opportunity to do so. It will be in the annotations up above. 5 ways to book Bray Wyatt. What could go wrong in the King of the Ring? And so many more videos right here on your new favorite wrestling channel, Sledgehammer TV. Check it all out. I'll link what I can in the annotations up above. This is the team. You guys know it well. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. My name is Nick Nightmare, and the most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you watching right now. If you are not already a member of the Sledgehammer Army, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button right now and join the over 1,800 plus that know that when you want your professional wrestling and entertainment news bullshit free and full of fun and truth, that Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. Don't forget to bash that like button and share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they were just as confused about all the bullshit we had to see from the WWE as I am. You know where to direct them. Maybe we can all figure it out together. Thank you guys so much for all your continued love and support. Let's continue to try to push for that 2K by the end of September. We'll give it to that. Let's get to the end of September. Let's get over that 2,000 subscriber mark. You guys can help me out by doing all those things that I asked you to do before. Likes and shares and comments help this video get pushed up more into the rankings. So if you want to help without actually even helping, just do what you guys do all the time. Smash that like button, share this video, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think was wrong with tonight's episode of SmackDown Live, what you think I might have missed, what you think I should have added, and what you think maybe I shouldn't have marked wrong. I'm always interested in all you guys' comments. I love reading all that shit all day long, even the ones that give me shit, but don't give me too much shit because the hammer comes down in the comments section as well, and you don't want to find yourself on the outside looking in. That, my friends, is going to do it. It's been a hell of a week, and we are out of here. And we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here, baby, on YouTube.com.